So, guys, I wanted to tell you, this video is going to be about, as the title suggests, if you feel like you should be happier than what you are. So there's a period of my life where I was doing really well. Like I was making really good coin. I was like making good 6 figures plus in money, in income every single year in my back pocket. Had an amazing relationship, had stacks of friends who were around me. I was living in Sydney at the time. I had a really awesome life. I was partying a lot. I was shredded and jacked. And from the outside, it looked like my life was perfect. Like I had everything. I was traveling. I was going to Bali all the time. Like I was doing everything that you would think that you would want. But on the inside, I just felt empty. And I felt like I should be way happier than what I was. And it was really, really crap because the better my life got, the less happier I got, or the better my life got, the less happy I got. And it was just like this really vicious spiral down. And it was just like, I just felt empty. And so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to go through and I'm going to dispel like a couple of things that just don't work and like common advice that people like give you. I'm just going to tell you like a few things to just not do, because don't fucking waste your time on it, because it's just stupid. Most people get this totally wrong. And then I'm going to show you exactly how you can fix this. So this is going to be particularly helpful for you if you're doing well in your career, right? You're making good money. You've got a great house, nice car, shiny things, like everything's fucking awesome. You got amazing relationships, awesome people around you. You love your wife, your partner, your kids, or you love the way that you look. Things are good from the outside, but on the inside, you just don't feel happy. And you're like, I should be happier than this. So I'm just going to go run you through like a couple of things that'll help you. So just to go and put it in perspective. So back when I was feeling this way, I was feeling very, very empty. As I said, I was making really good money. I love my job. Like at that time, I was just doing like fitness and bodybuilding coaching. And I loved it because I was a bodybuilder. And, I love getting people shredded and jacked. So all I was doing was I was just doing that. I was making awesome money. I was making like 150 plus K a year. For a kid, like that's an amazing amount of money. I had a sweet apartment. I had a sick car. I still have the same car. It's fucking awesome. I had amazing humans around me. Like all my friends were absolutely incredible. My social connection was absolutely amazing. I was, shredded, jacked. I was like 6% body fat, like 90 kilos. So I was big, I was lean, charismatic, like had everything from the outside. But every night when I got home and I was by myself, I was like, is this it? Like, is this seriously all my life is going to be? And I was actually, weirdly enough to say, I was like actually depressed. Like my life was so awesome, but I was still depressed and I was still down. And I was like, oh, well, is this all that I'm meant to be? And I spent a fair bit of time trying to fix it. I tried a heap of things. I went and saw, shrinks. I went and talked to mentors and people around me that I had at the time. And they gave me a heap of different bits and pieces of advice. And so, I'm going to run you through a couple of things that I tried. And by the way, for those of you who don't know me, I'm James Cant. I'm the owner of JCF Coaching. What we do is we do performance and strategic coaching, and we help men make more money, have better careers, have better relationships with their partners, wives, and kids, and the people that matter most, and be super healthy and like in terms of energy, making them feel fucking amazing, thinking well, focus, all that sort of stuff, so that you can absolutely dominate life. And so one of the things that I got taught, which was really, really super not helpful, it was actually super counterproductive for helping me get out of this funk, was people said, oh, you should be grateful for what you have. James, you have all this money. Look at your car. Look at your apartment. Look at your friends. Look at how you are. You should be grateful for all this that you have. I was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I should be grateful. I should be happier than what I am right now. What's wrong with me? I'm just ungrateful. And so then I went down this train of thought, like, oh, I'm just ungrateful. The reason why I'm unhappy is because I'm not grateful. I'm not thankful. I'm not doing any of these things. And it's all my fault. That's why I'm here right now. And then funnily enough, that just made everything worse, because now not only was I still not happy with where I was, I just felt empty. I've still got this empty feeling, but now I'm empty and also ungrateful and beating myself up for being ungrateful. And it's like this, this feed, this circular loop where I'm ungrateful and then I'm feeling empty and then I'm feeling empty. So it just keeps going around and around and around. And it's so counterproductive, because when you just say, oh, you're just not being grateful, you're just not being thankful, it's not actually fixing the problem, right? you're just creating a new one. You're just putting this new loop in your head, which is just going to make you much, much, much more anxious, because you start looking in the future like, well, hang on, what happens if I make even more money and then I'm still empty? Is that just because I'm like ungrateful? And it ends up being really counterproductive, because instead of propelling us forwards, it holds us in the same spot or stops us from moving like any further forwards. And that's just like totally, totally not it. Just saying, oh, you're being ungrateful, you're not thankful for all the things you have. There are starving kids. That was my favorite thing. There are people who would say there are starving kids in Africa who would love to have your life, right? Who would love to have your life. They don't have food or water or clothes or school. And look at you. You're not even happy. You should be happy. And it's like, well, yeah, now I feel like a massive prick, but I still don't not feel empty. So that doesn't fix it at all. Like just going and saying, oh, yeah, be more grateful. That's not going to do anything. The next thing that people said is like, oh, well, what do you do for fun? Like, what hobbies do you have? And I was like, oh, I don't know, not many. Like, I'm feeling pretty empty and pretty in the dumps. Like, I don't do a lot of stuff for fun as such. I hang out with my friends and go and I party and I do that stuff. Like, well, you should go get a hobby. You should take up golf, right? So I started taking up golf and going out to the driving range, and I still felt empty because I was bored. I was like, why am I doing this? I'm doing a hobby for the sake of doing a hobby, which once again made the emptiness even worse. So there was like, I was trying to find this meaning in my life. And that's what people are trying to get at. It's like, do a hobby, find meaning, find a reason to live, like all these sorts of things. And I was trying all of them and I was still stuck and I was still feeling empty because I was just arbitrarily choosing them. Like I was just randomly choosing stuff. Like I don't fucking like golf. Like I've never enjoyed, I like smacking balls every now and then, but I don't like golf. Why am I going and playing golf? Right. And I'm doing all these things which have no meaning to me in my life and expecting them to make me feel better. So once again, I'm feeling empty. I go out and try this new hobby. Hey, maybe this will make it better. Then it doesn't. I feel even more empty. I'm like, oh, well, nothing's ever going to fix this. And you keep going down the downward spiral. And then the other thing that I tried, and let's be honest, a lot of us have tried these things, partying, drinking, sleeping around with heaps of women and, doing drugs, right? All those things. And yes, they're fun. Like I'm not going to deny that I had a great time doing those. It was just transient happiness. There's a really big difference between being happy and being fulfilled. Being happy is a state, right? You come in, you come out. You go and say, good morning. I say good morning to my beautiful wife and I feel really, really happy, right? And then you go and deal with someone who's a fuckwit and then you feel grumpy, right? It's just like a normal thing. There's a really big difference between being happy and fulfilled. Happy is short-term, fulfilled is long-term, and fulfilled is like all the way to your soul. I always put my hands here because this is like where I feel my fulfillment. If I'm out of congruence or I'm out of integrity with myself or I'm not living my life in accordance with my highest values, this is where I feel it, right? And so whenever we are just chasing happiness through cheap dopamine bursts, through looking at porn, through sleeping with women or men, whatever you're into, through partying, taking drugs, drinking, going out and eating food, flashy dinners. I did all that sort of stuff. There was this place in Sydney called Rockpool, very expensive. I used to eat there a fair bit just because it was fucking expensive and I thought I looked cool. Posting on social media, showing how I'm keeping up with the Joneses. Hey, here's my convertible car. This is my apartment. This is the view that I've got, all this sort of crap, right? All these little cheap dopamine bursts. They made me happy at the time. But as soon as that happiness faded away, I was just more and more empty. So I was just going around in this downward spiral where I just kept feeling more and more and more empty. And the reason why I kept feeling more and more empty is because I was looking at totally the wrong thing. And this is the biggest problem that most people have, is that we go and we have an issue and we feel empty and then we blame it on something. We blame it on, you're not grateful. You don't have enough hobbies. You're not doing anything for fun. You need to go out and party and snort some cocaine or eat some disco biscuits or drink some grog or eat some more food or loosen up, lighten up, go out and enjoy life, right? That's all bullshit, right? Because none of that is actually fixing the root of the problem. It's like symptom masking, right? So what I ended up doing, the one thing that actually fixed it, and if we look at the real reason of why we feel empty, the real reason why we feel empty is because we're thinking too small. There's something really cool that I refer to quite often, which is called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which runs through like the 5 core human needs that we have. And one of the highest level of needs, and probably in my opinion, the reason why so many men are depressed, feel empty, don't feel motivated, they just feel like, what the fuck's this all for? Like, I've got all this money, I've got these amazing relationships, I've got this house, the car, I've got everything, I should be happy, but I'm not. The reason why is because they haven't ticked off self-actualization. Self-actualization is when you reach your highest potential. You reach your fullest potential. You are using your life to the highest level. You are out crushing and conquering and doing everything to the top of your limits. And when men have the opportunity to do that, but don't take it, that is when the emptiness comes in. So what do we do about self-actualization? Like, what does this actually mean? If we are going to achieve self-actualization, we need to act in congruence and in alignment with what our highest values are. That means what's most important to us on the inside, not on the outside. I'm not talking about the shiny car. I'm not talking about the amazing house and all that. All that stuff's great. And I'm totally like all for materialism. Like if that's what you want, cool. Like I got a nice car, I got a nice house, I got a beautiful wife. Like I have that stuff. But it's not like, well, my wife is obviously one of the core reasons why I'm so fulfilled. And that's part of my self-actualization. But it's not the flashy things which actually make us feel like we've reached self-actualization. The things that really, really work are the way that we perform in our life. I'm just going to put it super simply. If you are feeling empty, but you have everything, you have a great paying job, you have an awesome career, if you have an amazing relationship, house, car, all the nice things, right? If you have absolutely everything, right? But you're not setting goals big enough, you're not pushing yourself harder, you're not achieving, you're not striving for more, you're going to get really fucking bored really, really quickly. If you're doing well, that's not the time to sit back. When you start coming into abundance, what I mean by abundance is when we have everything that we need. We're not worried about putting food on the table. We're not worried about where we're sleeping at night. We're not worried about paying bills. When you have abundance, now's the time to go really fucking hard and push it up to another level. Because here's what I'm going to ask you, right? Picture this. You're old, right? You're old, you're smelly, you're gray, your skin's falling off, you got tubes up your ass, down your cock, up your nose, down your throat. You're about to take your final breath. All your grandkids are around the hospital bed as you're sitting there wheezing, you're struggling to breathe, and they're watching you take your last breath, right? When you look into them, into their eyes, and you look at all of them looking at you, and you start thinking back on your life, what do you want to look back on? Do you want to look back on your life and have a heap of regrets? I should have worked that little bit harder. I should have pursued, maybe a greater, for me, like my biggest regret would be that if I don't disperse all the knowledge that I've accumulated over the years, that would be my biggest regret. It's like, can you imagine sitting there saying, I regret that I never actually achieved what I was fully meant to achieve. I never reached my full potential. I never, ever got to my peak. Can you imagine knowing that you just wasted this really important period of your life? It'd suck. So let's not do that. Every time when we have abundance, every time when things are going well, that's not the time to like kick back, relax, cruise. No, fuck that. It's time to go harder. It's time to push forwards. And when I started doing this, things started getting way, way better. It was really, really interesting. So what I started doing was, instead of just me making a really good amount of coin every single year, is I started building up my business and expanding it. And I started passing on way more information. I started putting out more content for you guys, trying to serve more, trying to give more, trying to disperse as much knowledge as what I physically could. I started trying to give more. I started upskilling myself faster. That was one of the biggest things. Back when I was feeling really, really empty, I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have anyone pushing me. So I went and hired some. Right. And then funnily enough, they started pushing me, say, dude, you're capable of so much more than that. Started pushing me. I started growing way faster, and everything started ascending from there on out. Everything gets easier when we start growing and we start achieving self-actualization, what we're really, truly here on this earth for. And the moment that I did that, the moment I stopped feeling empty, that was the moment where I stopped saying, oh, James, you're just so ungrateful. You're not thankful for everything that you should have. That was the moment where I stopped like beating myself up about not having a hobby or anything like that, because it's not in my values. It's the moment where, I stopped wanting to sleep around. It's the moment where I stopped wanting to take drugs, do alcohol, drink alcohol, do all that sort of stuff. I got rid of everything there because I had a purpose and because I had meaning. If we have purpose and we have meaning, you will never, ever, ever feel empty. You'll never feel depressed, and you'll never feel down at all. Okay. If you can do that, then you'll be totally successful. How can I guarantee this? Because I've done this on me, and then I've done this on hundreds of other guys as well. I work with a lot of guys who are very, very high levels in business, right? Guys who are making millions to tens of millions to clearly hundreds of millions, right? per year in business revenue. Guys who are doing very, very well. And every single time when I do this and I help them achieve this, reach this self-actualization, every single thing gets better. And it's not just for those guys, it's for every single man that is alive. If you reach self-actualization and you actually push yourself harder, you set bigger goals and you go to achieve more, that is when you'll absolutely dominate and that is when you'll crush it. Okay. Now, I have two things for you guys here. Step number one, I've got something called the summit, right? The summit is like our way of describing how you can actually do this and how you can set out. Like, what is self-actualization for you? What is actually important for you? What are the things that you need to do every single day so that you don't feel empty? So that you don't feel, oh, I've got all this money, all these houses, these cars, this amazing wife, partner, kids, the whole lot, but I'm still fucking empty, right? How do we make it so that you don't do that? You do the summit. So if you want access to the summit, comment in the section below, summit. What this will do is this will, number one, help you look at what your self-actualization is. You know what two is that's really, really fucking cool? Is that it'll make you grow faster. The moment I started doing this, my business revenue increased because I could serve far more people because I was serving to a much, much higher level. At the same time, my relationships started getting better. I started connecting with much, much more high level people who I wanted to be around, and I love being around them. And the third thing is I started getting way leaner, way bigger, way stronger all at the same time. My health, my income, and my relationships all improved just by doing this. It's as simple as that, because this is the starting point. It's really, really difficult to succeed or achieve anything in life if you're not clear on where you're going. And this brings it all into total alignment. So just comment summit below. Alternatively, if you're watching this as a replay, there won't be like the option for you to comment perhaps. So just click on the link, right? It'll be down there. Click on the link and put in information and we'll get you access to the summit so that you can crush it. Because if you do this, you'll do really, really well. Okay. So if you want this information, you want access to this and you don't want to feel empty anymore, you want to be able to move forwards, you want to be able to crush life and just feel happy because you should feel happy. You should feel happy. You should feel joyous and you should feel fulfilled every single day. If you don't feel that way, click the link below and put your information in and we'll be able to help you out, get you moving forwards so you absolutely crush it. Now, just saw a cool question here. John Kingsley said, can you comment on moving from the basics of physiological and safety and into the belonging and love needs? Well, the most important thing, dude, if you want to move from the basics of feeling like making sure that you're eating enough and making sure that you've got food on the table, you've got food, water, shelter, like all that sort of stuff. And you want to be able to move up into the higher levels of Maslow's and looking into belonging, love, growth, self-act, like all that sort of stuff. The first thing you need to do is make more money, right? One of the biggest revelations for me, like I was never really like into money. You know, as I was growing up, I thought, money's money. Who gives a shit? Like it doesn't really matter. Here's the thing about money. If you don't have money, you're not making money. You're playing life on hard automatically. The first thing that we need to do is we just need to make more income, right? Do it however you need to. The easiest way to make more income is as follows. And I've actually got a video on this as well. Hit me up if you want access to it. Number one, make sure you have better energy. Number two, make sure that you're more confident. Number three, make sure that you've got better brain function and focus. And then number four, make sure that you're able to delay your reward. That means make sure that you're able to say, hey, I'm going to work my ass off for the next 6 months, year, 2 year, 5 years, and know that in the future, I'm going to get a massive payoff for that. Instead of being like most people and saying, well, if I don't win and become a millionaire in the next 2 weeks, well, this just isn't going to work. So I'm just going to quit, right? Simple as that. I hope that answers your question, John. Feel free to hit me up if you need any more information on that. But guys, on that note, I'm going to jump on off. I hope this helped you out. Please let me know if it did or if it didn't. If you want more information, you want to learn how to actually reach that level of self-actualization and you want to be able to get out of feeling empty, just click on the link or comment summit below and we'll get you across the information. Hope this helps you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you got something out of it and you want to learn more, click the link below or type in High Performance Conversations with James Cant and you'll be able to check out all the podcasts that we've done. We cover a stack of different topics, everything from getting your mojo back, overcoming anxiety, self-doubt, self-esteem, and learning from some of the industries and some of the world's top performers in both business and in health. Look forward to having you on there.